Hello everyone, this is Miss Mara and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit about smothering and what that means and what I've done in previous sessions and etc. Oh god, my nose is so itchy. Oh, I'm gonna have to redo that. Didn't have to sneeze though. And what that entails to my type of play. But before we get into that, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Turn on notifications so that you know when I have new content out. I post new videos or live stream every Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Go ahead and follow my socials at Mara Domina so you can stay in the loop. Also, I have 3 membership tiers here on YouTube. Go check those out after this video. I also have a monthly newsletter that you can go and see where my travels are and what events I'm hosting in your local city. All right, so smothering. What does it mean to smother? Do you mean kill someone by covering their nose and mouth so they can't utter the next words of wisdom to their lineage because they're the last coolest ruler of a kingdom and then they suffocate? No. Smother, to extinguish by covering it like a fire? Kind of, getting closer. Or to cover someone or something entirely with. Ding, ding, ding. That is the one that we're going to be talking about today. So smothering is, oh, also don't be the kind that smothers somebody too much. Like when you give too much love and attention, you're just so clingy that you don't feel independent or free, or the other person can't feel that way. AKA, I have very needy subs, and sometimes it seems like they are smothering me to the point of exhaustion. And I'm not even doing anything at that moment. That requires immediate attention. They just don't have mine. All right, so how smothering works in our lifestyle is you can take a body part and safely and consensually cover all breathing passageways with it, aka the nose, the mouth, or both. So in my case, I really like to use my butt, and I love to use my feet to do the smothering with. And I have a little story time. So there was a really awesome person that I'm going to call R, and for his birthday, he decided to contribute to my lifestyle by booking me, and he specifically liked leggings. So that could be workout leggings, yoga leggings, anything that's very stretchy and that sticks to my form very well. Now, the first time he saw me, he also had mentioned that he had a thing for feet, because a lot of guys do, and I have very nice feet. I won an award for them. And so what I liked to do was I liked to tease him with my feet from afar and have him kind of just watch and not touch. Almost like what you do when you pay dancers, you know, at certain establishments. And I made him sit on a chair, again, without touching me, and gave him some lap dances. And it was great because at that time, he was only able to feel, through his boxers, by the way, you know, the leggings and just like the friction of it passing over. Even though I wasn't necessarily smothering his passageways, I was still on a part of his body and I was still contributing to a sensation. After that, he was all hot and bothered. We got to laying him down on the floor. And again, he just had his hands right by his side. He wasn't allowed to touch or do anything. And I was able to have his knees bent upward so that I could sit back and relax on him, kind of like a chair or a stool, if you will, on the floor. And I was facing him. And then I would bend my knees, lay them on his chest, and slowly and carefully inch my way up to his mouth area. And that's when I told him to take deep breaths, don't breathe out of his nose. And I would put my foot on his mouth, one at a time, until he couldn't hold it anymore. And that was kind of the start to almost like a breath play. That's really fun because he really wanted to be put under that type of edge play. And so it was really cool because we were able to work up to it. So after one foot, another foot, then we had 2 feet together. And then here came the fun part. We ended up putting 1 foot on his mouth and 1 foot on his nose, and I'm able to grip really well with my big toe and the little toe next to it, the pointer toe or whatever. I don't know the actual medical terms for those, so excuse me, but we pinched his nose together. My other foot, I told him to get ready, inhale deeply, and then put my other foot on his mouth, and he held on for quite a bit. I would say like his longest hold was 40 seconds, which is pretty good for average, like non-swimmer diver types. And we did that several times, and I was ambidextrous with both feet, so I was able to do it with my right foot as well, where I would switch toes that would clamp down on his nose and then put my foot over his mouth to cover it. We even tried this sideways where I was off of him on the floor and we were perpendicular to each other, and I would just put both of my feet on both his nose and his mouth at the same time. That was really fun. Now, another form of smothering that I like to do is also with the butt. And that's pretty self-explanatory. I have a very nice round shape thanks to my Filipino side. And so I was actually able to, tell him sitting facing away and slowly and gently sitting on his face. This is also called queening. Usually there may or may not be any clothing, but I don't do that. So there were leggings involved, and the person underneath gets to enjoy the sense of everything. You can use your imagination on that. All right. A couple of other things that you could use, obviously, to smother are your hands. That's kind of a form of breath play. I'm not going to get into those too much because I like to explore the other parts of the body. And so I'm going to actually jump into armpits and the breasts, because guess what? If you are very well endowed, you could also smother somebody with your breasts. I have okay sized boobs. I have between a C and a D cup, and so I am able to smush somebody, and I have done this previously, into my boobs, and they were in a very happy place. It isn't my favorite way to smother someone because depending on their nose shape, it does rub against my breastplate and it's not very comfortable, and also it's just, more fun to sit on somebody, I think. I'm also an ass girl, so that's kind of my style by choice. And then armpits are a total sensory smell thing. So not only is it, sense of touch, but it's also kind of damp because at all times we have our arms stuck to our sides unless we're working on certain things. But even then you get kind of sweaty. And so there is a natural odor that comes out from there. And some people are really into that. So by clamping their nose down with one of your hands, you can also just kind of lean on them with your mouth and they are able to not breathe, lick it, smell it, or like I've had one guy who put his mouth on my armpit and just inhaled from his mouth, which is kind of cheating because it's not really smothering at that point, but it's still kind of a form of smothering and breath play, if you will. And then I flipped it so that I would put my armpit by his nose instead of his mouth and covered his mouth instead. So these are just a few ways to showcase forms of smothering, and hopefully you get to try it, if not with me, with somebody that you love or that you have an affinity for this season. This is just a different way to get more intimate with your partner, as well as to just have fun and explore each other's bodies. So if you enjoyed these tips, go ahead and follow me on all of my social media. If you enjoyed this video and found it educational, go ahead and click the subscribe button, turn on notifications so that you know when I have new content out. Again, I post every Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, or I live stream. I try to do that monthly. I'm also going to be starting live streaming weekly on my OF and Patreon, so go check those out. Every single platform has exclusive content, so you can find all my links in the description box below. You can also follow me at Mara Domina on most channel platforms. And until next time, I love you all, and I wish you all a very kinky February. Also, I didn't realize that my body kind of looks kind of pink, but oh well. Woohoo! That's what we get for doing a talking head video that we haven't done for a very long time. So, see ya.